Can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so I believe we've got 7. No, let me count again here. Wayne will be late. Wayne Bond will be a little late tonight, and Joe Bauer will be a little late. And Ian Magnuson, our vice chair, has an excused absence. He's out of town on vacation. I just heard that we are recording. Are we live streaming?
Yes, we are.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Welcome to anybody that is watching this riveting meeting online at home. Has everybody had a chance to look over the agenda? Does anybody have any questions or comments, suggestions? Or is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move to approve the agenda.
And is there a second for that?
Second.
Awesome. All in favor, please hold your thumbs up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm 6. What am I missing? Did somebody like drop out or something? I think we're good with the agenda. What's this one? Okay. All right. The agenda is approved. May meeting minutes. I did not receive any more suggestions for any corrections on the May minutes, so I think we can go ahead. Is there a motion to approve the May meeting minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye and raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, 8. That does it. Awesome. All right. Number 5 here on the agenda. Any announcements? What's going on out there this month? Anybody? No announcements this month? Crickets. Everybody's just enjoying their vacation. All right. Well, I've got some stuff to talk about over the last month. I guess one announcement would be myself and Sharon and Ian got to visit the Kalamazoo Climate Crisis Coalition's celebration at the Kalamazoo Nature Center a couple of Saturdays ago. It was a good time. There were some tables set up out there from some different environmental groups in town here. And then there were a few speakers led by Dr. Denise Keel, who continues to be a fantastic organizer for climate action in our area. And I was able to give the group there an update on where we're at with the city's efforts to get a first draft of sustainability and climate action plan together. So it was a good time out of there. A lot of mosquitoes, ton of mosquitoes. That was kind of the takeaway. It was good to see all those folks, and it was good to kind of give some good news that we're making some progress. So that was good, but mosquitoes, no good. Any other announcements before we move on to the business of today? All right, hearing none.
Sorry, one more. I mean, maybe it's going to be covered later anyway, I guess. But the 31st is the next Styrofoam drop off. So the second quarterly. So did mean to say that reminder.
Awesome, thanks, Sharon. Anybody that feels like, what time will that be? That's next Saturday, right?
It is the 31st, so not this Saturday, the following Saturday. I don't want to say the wrong time right now. Let me look real quick.
I think it was like 10 to 1-ish last time, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I think that's right. I just want to like read it.
Okay. But feel free to come on down and help collect styrofoam. I was down there the first time. It was a lot of fun to hang out with all those folks. There's a ton of volunteers from Hope for Creation that are down there. I will not be able to make it this time around. All right. Do we have any phone calls? Any citizen input?
Yes, we just got one phone call and message in, and if you like, I can play that for you.
That'd be great. Thanks.
Okay. I will have to have you stop sharing your screen so I can share audio.
Cool.
All right. Thanks.
Hi, this is Christine Prouty at 1904 Waite Avenue in Kalamazoo. I'm calling for the Environmental Concerns Committee with great concern to express my position that a deer kill is not the solution to deer presence in the Winchell neighborhood. And I thank the committee for the opportunity to complete the deer survey. One question is, how many conflicts with neighborhood deer do we really have? I have had 0 conflicts in 25 years in living on Waite Avenue. And what is the actual census of our deer population? Personally, I enjoy more animal activity in our environmentally friendly city. I noticed that research has shown deer kills are ineffective and logistically challenging. So I'm asking you to say no to any deer kill and to seek humane deterrents and alternatives which are available. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's the only one we had come in.
Okay, great. Thanks. And we will get to, we do have an agenda item today to discuss the deer issue. I don't know there's much to discuss this month. I haven't heard that there's an update yet, or that there's results from the survey that went out, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. Let me share my screen again here. Oh, where'd we go? There we go. All right, first up, we've got a presentation from Brittany Cullimore. She is working with an organization that is working with Consumers Energy on a energy benchmarking pilot program. So I don't exactly know what all those words mean. I just kind of read them. Brittany, and I think she's also got somebody else with her. So please take it away. Welcome. Thanks so much for coming to speak with us today. She was referred to us by Jamie McCarthy from the city planner's office. So go ahead, Brittany.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Chair Wright. First, I'm not seeing my colleague Mike Daisy on our panelist list here. I just want to check if he's on the call, if he's able to.
Brittany, I'm here.
To join us. Okay, there you are. All right. All right. He's here. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now if I can. Okay.
And I'm sorry, Brittany, what was your colleague's name? I can see him now.
Mike Daisy.
Mike, you can go ahead and click the 3 dots in your video window so you can put your name in there so folks watching at home can identify who's speaking. Oh.
Okay, thank you. So can everyone see my slide? It says Kalamazoo Energy Collaborative. Okay, great. So we're really excited to be here today to share about this new energy efficiency initiative that we'll be launching in the city later this year. My name is Brittany Cullimore. I am the program coordinator for Consumers Energy's local government benchmarking pilot program. And with me, I have Mike Daisy, and Mike is the pilot lead on our team. And to get us started, I will actually pass it over to Mike.
Unmuted. All right. Well, we're really excited to be here today. And I'm just going to speak a little bit to the program in general and the program and how it fits within Consumers Energy's organization. And then I'm going to pass it back on to Brittany. So as many of you might know, Consumers Energy has a clean energy plan, and we put forth that plan every year with updates. And recently we've updated that plan. If you've seen it recently, the commitment now is to eliminate coal by 2025. We're looking to reach a level by 2040 of 63% renewable energy. In addition to that, also 90% clean energy resources. And a big piece of that is the energy waste reduction programs that we have here at Consumers. And we have a very diverse program offering, from the typical incentive programs and rebate offerings that we provide to customers, residential as well as commercial customers. And then we have specialty programs, and then we have pilots. And local government benchmarking is this pilot program that we've launched. And really the goal is to kind of elevate energy efficiency, find ways to reach more Consumers Energy customers and provide energy efficiency towards those customers in support of our energy waste reduction program. Because ultimately our energy waste reduction program is a big portion and a big contributor to how we will meet our renewable energy goals and our clean energy goals. So under the local government benchmarking program, of which we hope to launch in other communities in the future and other municipalities, we are launching the Kalamazoo Energy Collaborative as our first city in our first campaign, and we're really excited about it. And if you have any questions about Consumers Energy and where this fits within the organization, we can wait till the end, but for now, I'm going to pass it on to Brittany.
Great, thanks, Mike. So I just want to provide you with a little background on the program, and this slide kind of helps us visualize the approach of this program, which is deepening partnerships among these entities, so the utility, the city, and local buildings, to leverage our shared priorities and support shared goals around energy efficiency in large commercial and multifamily buildings. So oftentimes city benchmarking campaigns and utility energy efficiency programs will have very similar goals of energy and cost savings for large buildings, but typically these are pursued through separate tracks. So this program is seeking to combine those efforts and leverage resources across all of these entities to achieve improved results. And this is actually a first of its kind program in the nation, as far as we're aware, where we have a utility-led program, where the utility is providing the funding and the resources and partnering with the city to do targeted local outreach. And a key component of energy efficiency programs is energy benchmarking. And so this is really the foundation of this program. A building's journey toward energy efficiency really starts with awareness, and that's awareness of how the building is currently performing. So we use a saying that goes, you can't manage what you don't measure. And this applies to many aspects of our lives. So if you're creating a household budget or following a diet, and it also applies to energy benchmarking and building efficiency. Energy benchmarking measures a building's energy consumption over time relative to peer buildings. And ongoing benchmarking is a really valuable tool to understanding energy performance within a building. So what benchmarking does is bring together two silos of information. So we have our building characteristics, so the building's size, square footage, the building type, what type of operation is being done there, the building schedules, how old the building is. So all of that information, and combining it with your meter consumption, so your energy consumption data. And this provides owners and managers with an understanding of the building's energy performance over time, and again, relative to peer buildings. So we've seen that benchmarking leads to energy savings, and this was a 2012 Energy Star study that showed buildings that were benchmarked consistently in their Energy Star Portfolio Manager tool, which is a free benchmarking tool. Over a 3-year period, those buildings reduced energy use by an average of 2.4% per year. So a total of 7% savings over 3 years. And this graphic includes information from the National Electrical Manufacturers Association. And this shows results from a behavior change study of building operators, where they were surveying behavior change as a result of a benchmarking requirement. And it found 77% of operators reported making operational changes, and 75% reported that they invested in new equipment as a direct result of benchmarking. So in short, this is just to demonstrate that the valuable information gained from benchmarking leads to action. So here are just some of the benefits of benchmarking as they relate to this program. Benchmarking helps building owners and managers understand their performance relative to peers, and also prioritize improvements in their building. It drives investment in existing building stock. So benchmarking provides important context for informed decisions on whether to purchase or lease a building, whether to invest in equipment upgrades. And it also provides context for sustainability efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions related to energy use. And the data generated can help to guide future city sustainability and energy reduction goals. Okay, so this is just kind of a high-level overview of what the program is and what it does. So this is a voluntary benchmarking program for existing commercial and multifamily buildings in Kalamazoo. The program provides support to building owners and local businesses in saving energy and reducing costs. Our team with the program will provide free resources and technical assistance to building owners and managers who are participating to support their benchmarking efforts, and to also take actionable steps to energy savings. And the program also supports the city's goals and their strategic vision toward a healthy green community focused on shared prosperity and the just transition to a low carbon future, and of course, increase community resiliency by focusing on efficiency strategies in the built environment. So now I want to share some key components of this program. We talked about this component of benchmarking, and I also want to add that we will be providing assistance along the way to participants in the benchmarking process. So whether someone has already been benchmarking their building, or if they're just getting started, we're going to hold several events that we call data jams, where we'll be there to walk them through the process, make sure that they have all the information they need to get benchmarked, and take them through those steps. And then the program will also utilize an energy portal, which will act as sort of an information hub where participants can engage with their energy data, view their usage trends over time. And after successfully benchmarking, each participant will receive an individualized analysis of their data and an assessment of their building, and be provided with customized recommendations for actions they can take in their building to reduce energy. So the energy portal is sort of like a Fitbit for your building. And our team acts as your personal trainer through these operator challenges that we'll have going into next year, 2022. And the challenges will be just to encourage participants to take those actions. So we'll provide reminders, we'll provide continued support to participants through those challenges. And then, of course, saving energy is a cause for celebration. We want participants to be recognized for their efforts and commitments. So through the program, we'll create opportunities for recognition through things like award ceremonies and opportunities to host building tours and highlight energy efficiency efforts. So the key group that we're targeting for participation in this program are commercial and multifamily buildings within the city limits of Kalamazoo. And we're looking at buildings, large buildings, 20,000 square feet or greater, because they're the largest energy users. However, if there's smaller buildings that are interested in participating, they're certainly welcome to do so. And this is just a visual to think about the types of buildings that are included. So we're including large private commercial buildings, multifamily buildings, large public buildings, and for this program, industrial manufacturing facilities would be excluded. And this list just additionally gives you another idea of the types of buildings that we're looking at to include for this program. So looking ahead, along with the city, we've begun initial outreach to recruit some early participants for the program. And we're currently seeking 5 or 6 buildings who would be willing to participate in a focus group that we'll be holding in mid-August. And the goal of this is to get feedback on what the program is offering, understand how we can best support their energy efficiency efforts, and understand any successes or barriers that they may have experienced in energy efficiency efforts that they may have done in the past. And so we really hope to have ECC support as we start getting the word out about the program. So I just wanted to share if you can think of any building owners or managers who may be interested in participating in the program, or especially in our focus group. I have our contact information here, so you can feel free to reach out to Mike or myself, and we can follow up with more information. And we have a link that we can share where folks can sign up to participate. And we'll be sure to keep you all updated as we scale up our recruitment efforts and move toward launching the program. And yeah, I think that's everything we have to share with you today. We can use any remaining time to take any questions that you have.
All right, Brittany, thanks so much. And Mike, thanks so much for presenting. I've got a few questions jotted down, but who's got some questions here?
I have a question. I'm trying to think of how to say it. Is the monitoring that you're doing solely focused on the amount of energy used by these places? I guess that can mean a lot of things. So I guess if you could explain more what types of, I guess the exact like things that you would be going for making something, making it more efficient? If you have like a specific list, I feel like I didn't see that.
Sure. So we are developing out a list of measures, and it's a fairly large list. So I didn't share it here, and that will also depend. It will vary based on the building type. So each building that participates, once we have them benchmarked, our team will do an analysis of the data on the energy portal, and also conduct interviews with the facility managers to get a full picture of the building, because we kind of need that full picture of the building to understand how their energy consumption relates to the efficiency of their performance. So yeah, that will definitely vary greatly from building to building.
So I can follow up more specific question. That all makes sense. I was catching that. For the building characteristics part of the energy awareness through benchmarking, you're saying area type, year built, blah, blah, blah. So are you testing like the amount that's retained in a building as far as like heat use, or are you like more focused on the metering levels? I'm just trying, because you're through consumers, right? So like I'm just seeing how much outside of pure energy consumption use your focus is.
Pure energy consumption, gas, electric, and we've had discussions about whether we incorporate water into these energy use evaluations. There is some things that we have on the table where we're doing AMI data analysis. That AMI data analysis is looking at consumption, electrical consumption over 15-minute increments of time that can give you a lot of insight into how a building's operating in terms of efficiency, right? But Sharon, you're on mute.
What does that stand for? You said AMI?
AMI is just 15-minute interval data. It's the way that it's the way that consumers just abbreviates that. So, you have your breakdown of electricity consumption per day for a 24-hour period. We can break that down through the use of a smart meter in increments of 15 minutes. But so to your original question, Sharon, we do have the option of doing some building virtual audits and to learn a little bit more specifically about how the building is using energy, but not necessarily doing heat load calculations there. Brittany, do you have anything to add on that?
Sure. So yeah, we are looking at this at the metering level. With benchmarking, we take the data and we look at that sort of against the median building of your same building type. So we compare it against using this Energy Star portfolio manager. We compare it against the national median for your building type, and so we can see if your consumption is way above or way below that, and that will kind of tell us where how your building is performing compared to similar buildings. And then we know, if you're consuming significantly more energy, we know that there's opportunity for improvement. And then this virtual assessment with our team will kind of help us. We'll walk through the building with you and try to identify areas where energy may be wasted in the building.
All right, any more follow-up, Sharon?
So I have a question. It seems a little counterintuitive that an energy company is working with people to make their buildings more efficient, because I would think that might have an adverse effect on the company's financial income. So what's the what's the story behind it? Like, why is consumers interested in doing energy audits and making buildings more energy efficient?
Well, Gail, that's a very, very common question. We get that a lot. And, we started our energy waste reduction programs back in 2009. The utilities are regulated by the Michigan Public Service Commission. And so we have obligations to meet the requirements that they set forth in terms of reducing energy consumption throughout customers. We have our our energy waste reduction programs, but we also have our demand response programs that are geared towards reducing the energy consumption, increasing the efficiency of our own systems within the organization, such as transmission and generation. But ultimately, it's what's best for the customer. It's what's best for the environment, and it's what our regulatory bodies are moving towards.
All right, thanks, Gail. I kind of wondered the same thing. Any other questions here for Brittany or Mike?
I'd like to add something. I'm sorry I tuned in late in response to Gail, or just add on to that. I mean, they are public utilities and they are chartered to serve on behalf of the public. I mean, I think they have their own private interest as well. But it seems like Michigan's been stepping up its commitment to renewable energies. In 2008, when we established benchmarks for how much of our energy had to be generated by renewable sources. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought within there was energy efficiency mandates that you had to strive to attain as well. And so those were updated again in 2016. They're nowhere near where I or a lot of people would like them to be compared to other states, but they are trending in the right direction. The MPSC works primarily with consumers and GTE, which are our two biggest utilities. So it's a mix of public mandate and corporate interest in doing well. And I think reading the tea leaves, that's the direction we're headed. So the more the company can do to stay abreast of trends, I think we'll keep them in good graces with legislators. And, I'm glad to see you guys doing this. I mean, I'd like to see more, but I think we're headed in the right direction. So just from my perspective, and that's my understanding, please feel free to weigh in, but that's how I understood. It's a combination of government mandates and corporate direction.
Yep, that's correct, Joe. Thanks for that.
In other words, they might have not done it if we didn't have to, perhaps, but maybe they would have.
Thanks, Joe. That answers that question for me. That makes a lot of sense. Any other questions here for Brittany or Mike? Bobby?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for presenting this to this group. I guess my question is, who else have you presented this sort of information to? I'm hoping you talked to the city of Kalamazoo. I would think in this area, you would strongly seek educational institutions, Kalamazoo Public Schools, Western Michigan University, K College, KVCC's downtown campus. All those kinds of buildings certainly fit into the size and capacity that you're looking at. Just kind of wondered who else were you talking to at this point?
Sure. Yes, we've been talking with the city for quite some time now. We've been working with Jamie McCarthy, and she's been working very closely with us, gathering information around a building list for some targeted outreach, and so helping out with that initial outreach that we're doing. We've also spoken with Dr. Denise Keel at Western Michigan, but you all are actually the first group that we have presented to outside of the city. And we definitely look forward to connecting with more groups as we go along. We'll be starting, right now we're in our kind of early recruitment, early outreach phase, and we'll be moving toward a more scaled recruitment outreach later in the summer. So we'll definitely be making more connections with additional groups as we move forward.
All right. Any other questions? All right, hearing none, I've got a few. So Brittany and Mike, can we back up a little bit? You both work for Consumers Energy, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so at the top of your presentation, you mentioned kind of the overall goals that Consumers Energy has put out by. Can you back that up a little bit? I'm curious
Sure.
what you mean by clean energy. You know, totally clean by whatever year that was, 2040 or 2050. Does that mean no natural gas? You said coal is supposed to be phased out by 2025. Is that correct?
Yeah, so that was actually recently updated in the new IRP filing with the Michigan Public Service Commission as part of the new integrated, or IRP, meaning Integrated Resource Plan, as part of the new Consumers Energy Clean Energy Plan. And they're working through some of the, I think they're in the final stages with the MPSC and finalizing some of those actions. But you're correct, yeah. Eliminating coal by 2025 now is the plan. You know, shutting down the remaining coal plants out in on the lakeside, the Campbell complex, as well as the Kern generating stations. And then, you know, the clean energy, the question that you had, you can look more to the plan online and some of the resources that we have on our Clean Energy Plan website. But for 2040, I think the assumption is 10% natural gas. It's fairly confusing on how they get to that point, or that how they break it down for 2040, because it does include the reduction that's made due to the energy efficiency EWR programs that started back in 2009. So they use that as a baseline, which they quantify as a 15% share of that total. But you know,
that could maybe be considered a kind of a high estimate.
That's the not an estimate. Well, I guess it is an estimate, but that's kind of what we're mandated to do.
Okay.
Since in 2040, from a baseline of 2009.
Okay. You said that your team, Brittany, would support, you know, building owners. What does that mean? Who's the team? How many are on your team? Is it just you? Is it just you and Mike? Is it like baseball team size? How big of a team are we talking about here?
No, so we do have a larger team. We have a group of engineers who will be working with each building, with each participant as they are onboarded to walk through the process. So we have a team of 3 or 4 engineers who will be available to assist participants. We want to establish a helpline, so an email and a phone number that participants can reach us at for technical assistance. And so this really just includes benchmarking experts who can help through that process, and then our engineering team who have experience with virtual building audits and can help you know, be a connection for participants as they're trying to work through these actions, any recommended actions. Of course, it's not required that they do that, but we hope that through the program, they'll be encouraged and motivated to take the actions that we recommend to them. And so our engineering team will be there to support them through those actions.
And then last question here. So, whoever the engineers or whoever go in and, analyze the building and give recommendations. If you do this, this, and this, you can, save, an estimated X number of dollars over this amount of time. So how would you guys plan to communicate? Because in my mind, the two most important things to try to scale this thing up is what are the actual cost savings? And obviously you have to do it for a while to calculate actual cost savings versus estimated, expected cost savings. How do you guys plan to communicate that? We went into, this facility and over 6 months, over a year, whatever, they were able to save X number of dollars. One, and two, would you plan to do the same thing for emissions data? Because I think the cost savings will catch everybody's attention and help to scale it up, and the emissions data will catch a good chunk of the public's attention, and increase people wanting to get on board with this type of thing. How do you guys plan to? Is there a clear plan to communicate those two key data points out to the public at large? Maybe not just like building owners or but for everybody to hear about it.
Yeah, so a component of the program is that we would like to have some transparency of high level information from the participants, so that over time, once they start taking actions, we can show the energy reduction, the cost savings, and for the participants, once they go through the analysis process, once we assess their building, they'll receive a report that will have a list of individualized recommendations with expected energy savings attached to each measure on that list. And there are ways that the team can estimate cost savings as well. And I can't speak too much to how that is done. And as far as emissions, Mike, you may be able to speak to this better than I can.
Yeah, so I guess one thing I'll mention is that we'll have a program website for this program that will also with a dashboard that shows all the participants and some of the energy intensity metrics that we'll track. So for instance, we'll be able to highlight the energy performance of specific buildings that are participating. That's potentially where we could share how cost savings, energy emissions reductions, metrics such as those. So it is something that we would share as part of that website, and maybe even on the city's website. We haven't had conversations about tracking the carbon reductions associated with each project yet, just because we haven't gotten down that road yet of integrating that into the program, but it's definitely something that we're aware of and we'd like to incorporate into the metrics that we track. Because one of the motivating factors is reducing energy, but also reducing carbon because of the correlation there. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. This sounds great. The city has been working on a sustainability and climate action plan for quite some time now. We do have kind of an early draft, and this effort by consumers energy sort of kind of dovetails with what we're doing there. And I think I would love to see, like if you said, if there's a separate website or a link to it or something on the city's website, that those two key things are right out front and center, right? That these efforts to reduce carbon emissions, to have a hard number on that, say we're bringing it down this much, and those cost savings, so that in the public mind, those things start to become associated, that reducing carbon, reducing emissions, reducing energy use is also going to save the general consumer money. So,
yeah, we're really excited. I guess over the next week or so, we'll like to share an email with the team here, and we can include that website that we put together, as well as some other resources.
All right, well, awesome. Brittany and Mike, thanks so much for coming this afternoon. Do we have any more questions, comments, follow-ups? Hey, Wayne, what's up? Welcome. All right. Hearing none. Brittany, if you want to stop sharing your screen for me.
Sure.
And you are both welcome to hang out and join us for the rest of our meeting. But I imagine you've probably got something else to get to at some point here. So I'm going to share my screen, and we'll get back to the rest of our agenda. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you all
thanks,
for having
everyone.
us. Look
Appreciate
forward
it.
to staying in touch. Take care.
Oop, that's not what I wanted to do. And then see, I'm going to stop sharing here for a second. Hold on. Okay, hold on.
I think you need to change your desktop to that image of that rock and roll shot you had.
Yeah,
there.
yes. Yeah, I'm trying to keep it professional here, Joe. Where'd we go here? Share screen.
Here yet? Or are you still along here?
It's still going, man. I'm growing it all the way down to my rear. The more people that ask, oh, it looks like it's time for a haircut. Well, Mom, it's not. Okay, that might be a little too much personal information. I apologize. All right, can everybody see my agenda again?
Yep.
Okay, great. All right, sustainability and climate action plan update. I did not attend the last kind of small group meeting. Like I mentioned, I went to the Kalamazoo Nature Center with Ian and Sharon so that we could share kind of where we're at, that there is an early draft, that there is Jamie McCarthy in her office, I think, did put in a request for next year's budget for some type of staffing to try to oversee the sustainability plan. And so things are moving along. Is anybody here today? Did anybody attend the last small group meeting? I think Dr. Keel might have been there. Of course, Jamie was there. Did anybody else attend? So last we saw, she had kind of a decent sized spreadsheet going where she had taken the that outline that she showed us, I think, back in February, and started to flesh out some of the details of who and where and when. And I think at this point, they're in kind of the prioritization phase. So the table that she had set up, kind of the draft plan, there were over 100 action items on the plan, which is a big, unwieldy plan to do kind of all at once. So I think the goal with the small groups that she's getting together, hopefully over the next few months, and hopefully it's sounding like we should be seeing a draft come before the full ECC here, hopefully in the next few months. I know I've been saying that for the last year or something, but it is kind of moving along. So right now they're at the phase where they're trying to identify kind of the top line, top priorities for what they might try to get to first. Any other questions or comments about the forthcoming sustainability and climate action plan? All right, so glad to see it's moving along. Hopefully, we'll get to see it before too long here. I do have natural features protection overlay, the phase 2 update as a agenda item here. I didn't know if there was anything else to follow up with. Jean, have you guys seen? Has the city commission seen?
Not
seen-
yet.
Goes there next month.
Yeah, it'll be soon.
Okay.
Are you asking about, I mean, I think we should talk about it just for a second at least. I was trying to look up the dates. I don't have it in front of me, but there's 2 meetings planned for it to go in front of the city commission with luckily recommendation from the planning commission. Also, I don't know if we have written another thing, but I think that would also be great, showing our support. Or do we finish that and this is the time we're actually sending that? Because this is to go to the actual city commission now. I don't know if we wrote anything for when it went to planning commission or not.
We did. I think something already went to the planning commission, so I imagine they'll probably keep it in that packet that they send to the city commission.
Okay, as long as that's there. And yeah, there's the reading of it for the first meeting in August, and then the next one is them voting on it. So
Okay.
there's 2 meetings in August. I don't have the dates in front of me, but I did want to throw that out there.
August 2nd and 16th.
Thank you.
That's 7 p.m. And I think as of now, those will still be virtual.
Even into August now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to give an update on that, Aaron.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Chamberlain said that we will have a decision for the September meeting. And then also there'll be a decision of whether or not it'll be a hybrid so that virtual will be offered while in person, or if they're just switching to in-person only. But he did say August meetings will be virtual still.
Okay. All right. And he specifically for our meeting, there will be some communication from City Hall. That'd be for all the committee meetings, I assume. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
also I am gonna zip off and head out.
All right, thanks, Melissa. I appreciate your work every month on this stuff.
Absolutely, my pleasure. You guys have a wonderful evening. Okay.
And Aaron, even though there's a ECC statement in the packet that commission will get and read prior to the meeting, it would always be helpful publicly for anyone who feels called to call in with the call-in instructions that are on the screen and give your thoughts about the plan, because the naysayers and the ones who don't will always call in, and the ones who support it would be helpful.
Okay, thanks, Jean. I'm not sure what I'm not sure how many of us might be comfortable meeting in person at this point. Feel free to email me any of your input on that, and I can kind of pass that along to Melissa. And I don't know if Assistant City Manager Chamberlain is kind of seeking some input or what, how he's making that decision, but I can see some heads kind of nodding, maybe that sounds good, or boy, I'm looking forward to getting back in person. But I know there's kind of a range of opinion and data that's changing daily with case numbers and everything. So please feel free, if you've got a strong opinion one way or the other. I'll kind of do whatever the city, whatever they tell us to do. But I'd be happy to share your opinions. Maybe they get some feedback from all the various committees here in the city. All right, so that was that on NFP phase 2. Deer survey, Dr. Melowish and Dr. Walter, have you guys met again with the ad hoc deer committee? Is there any update on the deer survey?
May I go first, Gail?
Sure.
Yeah, we haven't really met. Pete Kushner, who is the coordinator of this neighborhood association's deer committee, has been tied up with a lot of business and things lately. But I talked to him today and asking him how the survey results, if they're in yet. And he said, well, no, it's just a big pile of raw data. And he's going to get back to town this week. And then we'll start trying to make sense out of this with the help of the city staff and see where we go. We got a big response. There's a lot of data, but right now it's just raw data and we can't come anywhere close to drawing any conclusions or going in any one direction or another. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Gail, do you have anything?
Nope. That's the information that I had received as well, and Dr. Milewish's was a little bit more complete than the information I had. So that's what we know.
All right. Thanks very much. Jean, go ahead.
We, from the commission perspective, are already receiving notes and emails and actually calls on the commission meetings about calling the deer herd pro and con. So it's really important that we stay current with all of this, and the ECC can come up with a recommendation as well.
Yeah, I've received a couple of messages, emails, Facebook, again, from people on both sides of the issue. So as soon as we've got something to chew on with the deer survey, I'm sure we will have a thorough discussion of that issue. So for everybody watching at home, I think we all take this very seriously. There's a lot of strong opinions on the issue, and we definitely will be engaged in a discussion about that over the next however many months. Anything else on the deer issue?
Aaron?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if Commissioner Hess has heard anything one way or another of great interest on the deer problem from Western Michigan with all their properties and their campus maintenance and all that. I just wondered if Commissioner Hess has heard anything from Western on that.
Not yet. I mean, I can check in with him. I wonder if Denise Keel might have some information as well. But does anybody know of anybody at Western who might have information?
Well, there is the manager of the campus grounds, Steve Trevor is, I think that's his name. He talked to me a couple months back and he said, yeah, they would really like to see something happen where it would make their problems a lot less. But I haven't heard from him since and haven't talked to him. And I thought maybe he'd be contacting you or somebody else on the committee.
Yeah, not yet. So maybe he's been in touch with Pete, but we can definitely reach out.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
please do. Yeah.
I know that, and I don't know about, the main campus itself, I'm sure there's some information available that I don't have, but I know areas that belong to Western, like Kleinstock Preserve and Asylum Lake, are heavily impacted by deer. And, so those might be, those are areas that belong to the university as well as the main campus area.
All right.
Aaron?
Yes.
Lauren Hall here.
How's it going?
Well, I'm emerging from grandparenting.
Okay.
I'm not, and since I have been immersed in that, I understand that there's been a big survey about what people's opinions about deer are and how much of a problem there is. Having gone through this whole scenario probably 10 years ago when ECC was approached and asked, and then I asked again about, can't we do something about the deer? One of the things that was involved at that point was finding out actually whether there are practical solutions, whether other communities, we did some research about other communities trying to do something to mitigate the deer problems. And we came up with no very good answers. I guess I'm just confused about the steps being taken about this. I think it's one thing to have people's opinions. Yes, we do. No, we don't. And if we do, then it seems to me that there's some history about other efforts that have been made and whether they've been effective and whether in fact there is an effective answer to this, which it seems to me is at least as essential an aspect of considering this problem as whether people feel that we have a problem or we don't have a problem. Am I making, maybe I'm not making myself clear, but I don't quite understand the survey role and the steps to find out if there is a solution. I mean, everyone agrees that there's a lot of impact of deer in certain areas of the city, but has somebody actually managed to successfully limit that problem, or is this a problem that at this point has not revealed any successful solutions?
Well, and I agree with you, Lori, and I think, you know, that's the role for us to play as the ECC. There is a concern in our community about, you know, what some people perceive as a, you know, kind of an out of control deer population. It has a negative effect on landscaping, property values, all that kind of stuff. You know, so if we get some, you know, results of this survey showing us what the concern is in the community and what, you know, there might be the impetus to do in the community. Our role, I think, is to try to provide some of that input and communicate that to city staff and the city commission. Here's what they've tried in other cities that was successful or unsuccessful. I personally am kind of stuck on the notion of harm, you know, harm to the human population, harm to the deer population, harm to other, you know, other quarters of our ecology in Kalamazoo. So it's, you know, at this point, it's still just a conversation. And if we get, you know, if we see a bunch of, you know, we have to wait and see what the survey says to see, you know, see which direction we're gonna go. So I think we're still just.
The survey may say the overwhelming thought is we do not have a deer problem, right. So therefore we won't need.
Yeah. Can we move on then?
Yeah. At which point it will become moot.
Okay.
And
this is the third time the ECC has been approached on this subject since I've been involved with the ECC. So right. That's why I'm thinking, can we learn from the history instead of repeating it over and over? But that's simply just a voice from the past wondering what kind of energy is being spent on this issue.
Yeah.
But anyhow, those are my 2 cents. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thanks, Lori. All right, next agenda item here, recycling and litter. We've had a group meeting for the last few months. I don't know that there's much to update this month. I did have a discussion with a couple of city staff last week about trying to put together kind of like a list and a map to sort of keep track of litter pickups throughout the city, whether it's schools or churches or community groups, nonprofit groups, whatever type of groups. The Kalamazoo River Alliance, the group, they've been out a couple of times, picked up a ton of litter and refuse. So I had a great meeting with them. Nolan and Dan something or other. One's like the neighborhood activator, and I can't remember the job title for the other city employee, but basically I agreed to create a little list, a little spreadsheet of, we kind of brainstormed a list of, you know, groups that we would expect might do some litter pickups. Dan is like the neighborhood activator, so he agreed to fill in the neighborhood association portion of that, which I think will be a big part of it, because you can kind of break the city up into manageable chunks to see where litter pickups are being done. And then Nolan agreed, he knows how to work the GIS map, so he agreed to help put a little map together. This is that you can have a visual of when and where litter pickups have been done. Those guys did mention that the city is expecting to get to launch a new website at some point relatively soon, I think, maybe by the end of the year, beginning of next year. Does that sound right, Commissioner Hess? They were thinking, because it'll take a while to get this stuff together, they were thinking maybe we could kind of launch that, if we can get something together like that, to look at ongoing litter pickups, that we could put that map and that list on the new updated website, because otherwise they'd probably have to reformat it or something to put it on a website that's going to be kaput in a couple of months. Sharon?
Or when you're done, I have other things for our committee that I wanted to kind of overview. So are you done? Or
yes.
Okay. Sorry.
Wait, no, not yet. No, I'm done.
All right. So the another thing, since the website's changing, they did ask us to, we're reviewing, and if we have any suggestions for changes for how the education's going for recycling and stuff, they are open to any suggestions. So that's something that is on our kind of agenda as a committee too. And then I know we had different people were doing different things. So we're looking into different kind of compost opportunities as a group, and costs, and making sure that, the city has information, which I know Jean talked to the 311 people to make sure they had all the right information for what gets recycled where, because we were just making sure that the education is consistent across the board. But we're still working on a lot of things, and I feel like we'll have more to come.
All right, so thanks, Sharon and Commissioner Hess and Wayne, and I think Nicole might have joined that group last time. Thanks for getting together, Rob, I think, too. Thanks for getting together to chat about what we can do to, increase recycling and make the city a nicer place to live. All right, on to new business. I've only got one item on new business this month. I got a request from, or a question from a citizen in a message. She wondered where she could access our monthly agendas. So I looked through some of the other boards and committees. Some of the committees, like the Planning Commission, is mandated, I think, by, or one of them, I can't remember if it's zoning, one of them is mandated by state law, so there's rules for how they have to communicate things publicly. Our committee was just enacted by the city commission, so there's not necessarily a state rule that governs how we communicate. I would be happy to talk with city staff. But it looks like most of the other committees don't kind of do that. Some of them have their agendas, previous agendas listed, which is great if somebody's doing like a historical analysis, but most people, it seems, would want to know what the agenda is ahead of time because they might be interested in what's going on. So what does anybody else think about that? If we try to figure out how to get our agenda, posted on the city website, and like how soon we should have it up there. Anybody?
I feel like that could get really tedious, all about public transportation, or being transparent, sorry. Public transparency, but I feel like for a volunteer group that is a little bit intense, but I would think there could be some kind of an in-between. Like, I don't know, that just seems like a lot for every single board to do that, and it feels like we have the ability for anyone to come in at any time that wants to present a topic. So with that openness, like, the agenda isn't like always going to be set at any specific time anyway as well. And that would be harder for you specifically too. So I think you should speak on that for how you feel about it.
Erin, this is Jean. I have to run here, but that would be handled probably by the city clerk's office and uploading those agendas. And you know, you probably could put something on the agenda as that, you know, this is a draft, and tune into the meeting for the final draft of the agenda.
That sounds a lot better if the city's actually doing it. If it's on us, I don't think that's exactly fair, but I think we should be able to communicate if people have questions at least, since I feel like that might not even happen every month. Like that might be easier at some points, but.
Right, and if we're continuing in person or virtually, especially letting people know how to access us prior to the meeting and call in and so on the agenda, and just have that publicly available on the clerk's website. So.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that hard. I mean, I'll get the agenda together. I usually get it together by Monday-ish, sometimes the weekend before. And all I would have to do is just add it, you know, just send it to Scott Morling or whoever specifically would take care of that in his office, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. So maybe I'll email him and Melissa and see what they think.
Awesome. Thanks all.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Hess. All right, subcommittee reports. Bobby, has NFP review board met lately? Anything cooking there? You are muted, my friend.
No, we're just still dancing around, happy that, really happy with the abundance of both written as well as verbally submitted comments, supporting the efforts, supporting that we live in a city that takes time and care and thought into preserving our green spaces and that sort of thing. So a great outpouring of that kind of support. Happy that it is now going to the next level for consideration with the commission. So yeah, I think this month's meeting was actually canceled because we didn't have any new cases to actually review at this point. And you know, that in itself says something. It's not that anytime a property owner wishes to do some development that they're burdened by having to do something with NFP. It rarely comes into play. But when it does, every one of our cases has been met with either a variance or approval or some changes made such that it's able to still go forward and in a better way in our opinion. So that's just kind of where we are right now.
Awesome, thanks, Bobby. Air and water quality. Bobby and I did not meet this last month. Maybe early August would be a good time for us to get together again, Bobby. I'll send you an email. And we can get together and talk about the air and water quality. I've not heard anything from about the the air quality data review that Michigan Department of Health and Human Services is supposed to be conducting right now. I didn't read a news report. I think Director Baker said they sent them 12,000 pages of data. So that's a lot of pages. So I might shoot them an email again this month. I haven't pestered them in like 2 months, I think. So I think they'd like to hear from me again. So I'm gonna shoot another email up there. Yes. Wildlife and natural resource protection. Dr. Walter, see, you're blowing up my Facebook page. What's new? And you are also muted, my friend.
I'm blowing up your Facebook page. I don't understand that.
Well, just I've seen your posts about
Oh, about the
oak
birds.
trends on
Oh,
the
my
Facebook.
peregrines.
Yes.
Those that wildlife.
Yes.
Yeah, they've been a bunch of juvenile delinquents this year, getting kidnapped and having to get the police involved. And I'll tell you, the Falcon drama has been has increased my alcohol consumption way too much. Let's just put it that way. But so they should be. They're on their way to start their new adventures really soon. This is when the youngsters usually leave. So they get very independent. They're hard to track right now. So that's the Falcon story. I don't have much other. We've gotten an update about the deer survey situation. I was cleaning out some folders on my desk, and I ran across this really cool pamphlet that you might be interested in. This is UN Ticks. So this is put out by the state of Michigan .gov. So michigan.gov/Lyme. And if you go to this website, there's all kinds of really great information too. You can toggle back and forth between Lymes and EEE and get the arbovirus reports. And you can order this little booklet. So this is, and you can order actually a business card with the actual size of various ticks that you could carry around with you in your wallet. If you ran across a tick, you would know, be able to identify that tick. But anyway, it is that season. There are certainly a lot of mosquitoes and a lot of ticks and a lot of other probably creepy crawly things that are out there. But as we get later in the season and later in the summer and early fall is when the increase in arthropod-borne diseases will start to become apparent. And so it'll be good to keep up with Ned Walker at MSU about his mosquito surveys. There have been some arbovirus-related diseases found on the east side of the state, the canyon virus one. I have a personal friend who's already had Lyme's disease. And so it is out there. The ticks are really bad this year. So everybody stock up on DEET and stay attentive to that. So I'll try to keep you updated and send you the weekly arbovirus reports. Are just starting to come out. The season is beginning. The tick and mosquito season is here. So that's about all I know.
All right, thank you, Gail. Waste management and litter, we kind of already covered that. Ian is not here to give us an update on the Planning Commission. Tree Committee, back to Dr. Walter.
Okay, well, Tree Committee's been pretty quiet. There's really nothing much to report. We did not, the meeting that had been scheduled to start to review the tree ordinance was canceled at the last minute because there were too many time conflicts that people had and were not able to attend. So it will be rescheduled for August sometime, hopefully. I'd like to be able to work on that before I retire from the ECC. Anyway, I'll keep you appraised of how that is going. But the last tree committee meeting that we had was there was hardly anything that to discuss. So just some trees downtown that were invasive trees that were going to come out because of Zazio's remodeling, and the ground had already been dug out around them, so they were obviously coming out anyway, but they're calorie pairs, so better species is being chosen as replacement. So it was the only thing that came up on the tree committee.
All right. Thanks very much, Gail. I'll be interested to see what, if you can get that meeting together, how the conversation starts about, it's a difficult question, about kind of urban tree canopy. It basically is what we can do through a tree ordinance to affect that. Okay. Silent Lake. I see.
There were some beetles released to help dealing with one of the invasive species there. That just happened, and I mean the water stuff is underway.
I'm sorry, say that
water
again.
restoration.
Sharon, you
Sorry?
said there were some beetles released
Yeah.
to help. Can you which beetle?
I don't remember which beetle, but it was
Goes with
for
me.
the
Goes with-
loosestrife.
Was it George or Paul? I'm sorry, Sharon. It's getting late.
I know I have to leave in 4 minutes.
I'll shut up.
But yeah, it's Lori, do you remember more specific? But I don't remember which beetle, but it's the loosestrife, and we had a presentation on it to figure out that was a pretty good thing that we could do to help with it. And
purple,
so
yeah,
I think
it's a
everyone's
beetle that eats
positive.
the purple loosestrife, which is
Yeah.
kind of a pretty thing, but it's very invasive and chokes out other stuff. And there are these pods with beetles, and they were placed. And I talked to Tom Sauber. Actually, I saw him yesterday as he was clearing out the spillway. And he was going to go and investigate to see if things had started chomping yet. Because he had to do that in his waders because the spillway was blocked. The lake was at the highest, it's gone from the lowest level that we can remember to the highest level we can remember because the spillway was blocked by activities of the beavers. And as he cleared it away yesterday afternoon, we had a torrent rushing into the creek that connects Big Asylum and Little Asylum Lake. It was very dramatic. Everyone was thrilled, especially my grandchildren. And so presumably they'll be able to get out to the loosestrife patches where these beetles were released to see if in fact they have begun to control that particular invasive. The beavers are still here. They're very active, but they're not chomping the trees like they did because it's not fall and they're not getting ready for winter. But it's expected that they too will become active as the insects do as the summer goes on. So, yeah. Otherwise, we haven't had a council meeting in July, so that's coming up in August.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Sharon and Lori. Parks and Rec, Rob.
Hey, to your earlier point about meeting up in person, Parks and Rec has decided to start to meet in person at local parks. And I was not able to attend because of that. And if it's not online, I wasn't able to follow up. So I will be better and more proactive on making it to the next one, but they are meeting in person now.
Okay. So Rob, next time you make it to Parks and Rec, if you maybe want to bring up the idea of because I think like the local park, what's it called? Like the park, the people who can sign up to kind of be like the person for that park.
The ambassadors, yeah.
Ambassador, yeah. I think that the little project that I'm trying to work on of just getting an ongoing list and a map of litter pickups. I think that park ambassador program would be a great thing to kind of fold into that. I think folks that are interested in doing a park would also be interested in, helping with like a, just an organizational project like that.
Yeah, that would be probably a good crossover. I can definitely bring that up.
Okay. Awesome. I might copy you on emails that I've got going with those city staff then.
Okay. Yeah, and if you need an updated list of the emails for those folks, I can do that too.
Awesome. Thanks. Wellhead Protection Program. I'm gonna email Melissa and Jean Tolanda, invite her out to our August or September meeting. Maybe she'll have an update for us. We were gonna try to do quarterly with her, and it's been a few months. Kalamazoo River Watershed Council. Nicole, were you able to connect with that group?
I haven't been able to connect with anyone from the Watershed Council yet, but I just received the information from Ian a few days ago. So I kind of plan to just connect with them in the next week and let them know to let me know when they have their next meeting, because according to Ian, they haven't had one in months because of COVID. So I guess they haven't been doing anything virtual either. So hopefully soon I'll be able to connect and find out what's going on.
Awesome. Thanks, Nicole. All right, last piece, Odor Task Force. I sent an email out to you a few weeks ago that had a link to the city's, the water reclamation plant has a website now where you can log odor complaints. And then they respond to you with some kind of analysis of where that odor might have come from. We were able to give them, like, the one link they had didn't seem to be live. So he talked with the folks from the EnviroSuite company. They kind of worked through some of that. So I'm going to send you that link again. I think that city staff would really like for us to log in as many kind of test runs as we can before they launch it, so that anybody can get into it. So later tonight, I'm going to send you all out that link. Please, if you get a chance in the next week, couple of weeks, try it out and send me some feedback on if it worked, if you were able to, if it made sense to you, if everything was working, so I can communicate that to the water reclamation plant and Jim Cornell, who's running that program. Because I think it's maybe like one more round here of double checking, and I think he's pretty well ready to launch that. He just wants to kind of double check and make sure everything's working before he puts that out. I haven't heard anything else. We haven't had an odor task force meeting. They're trying to schedule another one for sometime in August, I think. Hopefully we'll have some more data from graphic packaging from their data collection. Hopefully we'll be able to see it in graph, some kind of visual form. But that about does it. I don't have anything else for you. Any other questions, comments for the good of the order? All right, hearing none. I cannot believe it. It's 6:03. We got through the whole meeting by just about 6 o'clock. It was very efficient, an efficient meeting. So it was nice to see everybody, and we'll see you again next month.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron. See you, everybody.
Thanks much.